Breakfast Saturday. So after months of speculation, President Bola Tinubu has again made some significant changes to his ministerial cabinet. 10 ministers have been reassigned to new portfolios, 5 have been discharged, and 7 new ones have been nominated for Senate confirmation. This move is aimed at scrapping superfluous ministries, as well as ensuring a more compact and effective government. The reshuffle was based on a thorough assessment of each minister's performance, with a focus on delivering tangible results for Nigerians. The presidency has emphasized that the changes were made based on facts in the ministers' scorecards, and the cabinet reshuffle also sparks anxiety among some ministers, with speculation mounting that there could be further changes. But the presidency has reassured that the changes are aimed at improving governance and delivering results for Nigerians. That's what we want to discuss now. We bring in via Zoom from Canada the co-founder, Africa Data Warehouse, Adebayo Bayu. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have via Zoom, this time around from Anambra State, the acting general, national youth leader, Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, Mazi Chukuma Okpala. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on the program. Let's begin with Mr. Bayo. All right, so Mr. Bayo Adedusu, I meant to say, thank you again for joining us. So even in the papers this morning, days after this big story, of course, it's still reverberating in Nigeria. People are asking, this list of ministers who were asked to leave doesn't appear to be complete. When you look at the state of the economy, why won't the president, look towards that direction of changing the entire economic team, for example? That's what some people are saying. But what do you say to that?
Thank you very much for having me this early this morning. Let me say good morning, Nigerians. And I mean well by saying good morning to Nigerians, because these are no easy times for every Nigerian, no matter your status as a Nigerian, whether you are based in Nigeria or you are in the diaspora. We all feel the pinch of what's going on back home. And that being said, with regards to the clamor for an awesome change of the cabinet, myself, as somebody who is in management, I've never seen a place where an entire management team is thrown out at once. You don't make such carpet changes in a sweeping situation like that. What people need to understand is, which I agree with the president, is he took out 5 people that he has seen as the weakest link within his cabinet. And in management, you need to create a balance. You need to find a balance. We know that this is certainly not the last shakeup that will occur within this government. But what the government is trying to do is to strike a balance between those who are leaving and those who may still have to leave. Be that as it may, nobody, I wasn't expecting as a person that the President Bola Tinubu will take out, let's say, 15, 10, thereabout ministers all at once, because governance has to be balanced. And what he has done is to actually try to instill confidence in the average Nigerian that he feels their pain, he hears their voices, and he knows that some of the ministers have not performed to expectation. And the onus is on him, because the buck stops at his table, to ensure that he has on board people who believe in his agenda, that he has on board people who are ready to come in and hit the ground running. And that is why I said, when you have a series of ailments that you need to go into procedure to have surgeries on, I've never seen a situation where a patient has 3 different ailments that needs to be operated on, and they wheel him into the operating theater all at once and begin to do all the surgeries, procedures at once, because there are different special areas of specialization for surgeons to actually do such surgery. So this is what I see the president doing, trying to strike a balance, and at the same time ensuring continuity in government.
All right, striking a balance for the president is what you've just said about the shakeup that we've seen in this particular administration. Let me quickly bring in Mazi Chukuma Okwalezeku. What is that significant moment for you back here in Nigeria, talking about the new appointment made by the president and the numbers sacked by the president?
Thank you, Emma Ajayi. I must confess that the development of reshufflement of the cabinet demonstrated the president's commitment and determination and attention to the yearnings of Nigeria. Indeed, this is one of the most challenging moments for Nigeria. And the reshuffle of the cabinet and sacking some, reassigning some, and appointing more has shown that he is conscious and he is not willing to attend the sentimental emotions of people who may think you have sacked my person, you have sacked my people, you have reshuffled my own to another where he is not comfortable. Therefore, I want to commend Mr. President on behalf of the Igbo youths for this bold step taken to ensure that Nigeria is moving forward.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. And, okay, well, one would also talk about, or let's also talk about, the inclusion of Ambassador Bianca Uke in this list. She appears to be, well, people have said she's the most prominent, and what value is she bringing in to the Tinubu administration politically? And, when you look at how this is also going to affect other critical areas of the country. What's it like for you?
I must commence by commending the president for the first.
Hello, Mr. Okwalezeku.
We lost connection with him there.
All right. If you can hear me, Mr. Okwalezeku, we will come back to you. We are having some glitches with your audio. Let's come now to Mr. Adedosu.
Attending to my point that our people
comrade,
in the cabinet.
Can you hear me? Comrade.
Loud and clear.
Right. We lost the introduction of your opening remarks to this question. Can you just backtrack a bit so we understand what you're saying in context?
Okay, thank you so much. I said that the appointment of Her Excellency Ambassador Bianca Uke is the foremost appointment to our people, Ndibo, by this government. Because this is the only minister that we are certain that shall be close to us and ensure that our people will feel a sense of belonging in the cabinet. Secondly, when it comes to skill, professionalism, experience, he is the most qualified for that designation, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. When it comes to the reactions of some people, I have read where some people from here in Anambra said that the appointment of the ambassador is an anti-party activity. I want to be one such comment and let them know that at this time in Nigeria, what we need is not partisan politics, but people result-oriented politics. And I want to commend Mr. President for not being sentimental along party line or tribal line, or going back to what people may say to do his appointment. The appointment of Her Excellency Ambassador Bianca Uke is the one appointment we have seen in this government that shall ensure that our people are part of this government. Thank you.
All right, let me quickly bring in Mr. Bayo from Canada. What do you make of this issue of cost of governance at this time? Because a lot of Nigerians have said, even the president talking about looking at the Oronsoye's reports, the cost of governance at the moment and the new appointments made by the president. What's your reaction concerning this?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. And to be honest with you, Nigerians have every reason to talk about the cost of governance. And I believe with the steps taken this week by the president, it shows that the president actually understands and hears the yearnings of the average Nigerian. And when we're talking about the cost of governance, if the Nigerian people are being asked to sacrifice, then the leadership of the country, not just at this federal level, down to the state government, local government, they need to right size based on their financial situations. Oftentimes, we pay attention only to the central government, neglecting, forgetting that Nigeria is a federation with 3 federating units: the local government, the state government, and the federal government. The local government is supposed to be the closest to the Nigerian people and takes development to the grassroots, to the people, followed by the state government. And I'm very happy this week when the president released that directive that the convoy of ministers should not be more than 3. That is a right step in the right direction. And when we're talking about the Oronsoye report and the new ministries, let us get one thing clear. The fact that we have more ministers or more ministries does not mean entirely that the cost of governance is going to be on the increase. The most significant thing that we need to look at is the service delivery component of these ministries and the ministers that will be coming on board. For the first time, we are having the Ministry of Livestock, which naturally would have been under the Ministry of Agriculture. But by having a ministry dedicated to this, it simply means that particular sector of the economy will receive more attention. Even in the Western world, we have various departments, various ministries broken down so that it can have more impact on the Nigerian people. But the honest truth is, Nigerians are disillusioned that the Nigerian government entirely, and when I say the Nigerian government entirely, I'm not talking about the federal government. The Nigerian government system entirely is over-bloated. And if I'm being asked to sacrifice something, then the question will be, what are you also giving? The Nigerian people wants to see that the government is also giving something, and the sacrifice actually starts from the government. And that is what the federal government has done this week. Now, let's take it down to the state government. We know of recent that we've been hearing stories of how some governors have been appointing senior special assistants, special advisors, like it's going out of fashion, like they just have to placate people, just give out appointments when it has no connection to service delivery. What this appointment I've seen with the government or at the federal is more of service delivery as against what is going on at the state level. The local government administration in Nigeria is almost non-existent, as it were, if not for the recent Supreme Court ruling on the autonomy of the local government. So going forward, the Nigerian people will continue to make demands because they are actually, at this point in time, in a situation where there is a disconnect between the government and the governed. And that parity, that gap has to be breached. But
right.
for all intent and purpose, I believe the federal government is going in the right direction, and the Oronsoye report itself is being implemented.
Just a quick follow-up to that particular question I asked earlier, talking about the cost of governance. So a lot of people, some Nigerians have argued or questioned why are we still have a Ministry of Agriculture to also looking at the Ministry of Livestock. What do you make of this?
So so is that for me?
That question is for you, Mr. Bayo Adedosu.
I actually answered that question I specifically talked about the Ministry of Livestock and Agriculture while I was talking. But let me repeat it. The Ministry of Livestock.
What I'm saying here is that the duplication of functions at the moment.
Well, like I said, when we look at it, maybe not totally duplication of effort, because we have some livestock development ordinarily is part of Ministry of Agriculture. Just as before we had water resources as part of Ministry of Agriculture. I think the breaking down of this is because the government wants a better service delivery. 2 weeks ago, the governor of Niger State, His Excellency Mohammed Umaru Bago, was in Canada, and he said that in 1 month, his government makes 1 billion naira from livestock business. That tells us that is an area that we need to focus on. Livestock is not just about cattle. It's not just about goat and sheep. No, it's not. While the governor of Niger State was in Canada, he signed some MOUs to supply beef to Canada. That is huge. That is the economic potential in that particular area that we have neglected for so long. Because when we are talking livestock, we think it's just about cattle rearing, we think it's just about goats. No, it is a business in itself with a lot of value chains that we need to set aside. Look at it, we have also the Ministry of Blue Economy. Why would we have the Ministry of Blue Economy? It's simply because there is a potential in that particular sphere, and to be able to manage our waterways and the inherent economy that are untapped in that particular sphere. So it may look like duplication. Just like I said, Nigerians are also asking the government of sincerity in the discharge of its commitment to the Nigerian people, because there is a social contract between the Nigerian people and the government, and the Nigerian people are now asking ever than before that, because let's get it clear, the Nigerian people have been squeezed for too long. It's unfortunate that it is this government that is now bearing the pain of what the Nigerian people have been subjected to over the years. But hey, which other direction can we go? I feel the pain because people have this erroneous impression that people in the diaspora are disconnected from the Nigerian situation. And we are not. I, as a person, I have an aged parent back home in Ibadan. And I know that as a result of all the situations in the past couple of years, my finances towards her have changed. The demands have changed. So I'm also impacted. People look at the volume. When they look at $100, they look at $1,000, and they begin to translate it into naira. But the question is, what is the purchasing power of that magnitude of money we are looking at? So the Nigerian people are actually talking about service delivery, and that is the business that I see in the Ministry of Livestock. It is a ministry that would deliver in area of foreign investments.
Thank you very much. Let's put you on hold and flip now to getting more views from your co-analyst, Mr. Okpala. So we will not be seeing the Niger Delta Ministry, at least under that name anymore. What we now have is the Ministry of Regional Development that co-opts or will now be managing the affairs of all the regional commissions that we have seen. The Southeastern Commission is also affected and will now be under this new Ministry of Regional Development. But, you know, Niger Deltans have spoken out saying this is not exactly justice to them. But, you know, for you, what do you make of this rejigging?
Yeah, for me and for us here, the rejigging says Mr. President means business. He is very serious with healing Nigeria and restoring the dignity of this nation. I said so because when the Niger Deltans agitated for Development Commission, which they got, there was also a ministry for Niger Delta. Now, Mr. President has ended the war in Southeast by establishing a Southeast Development Commission. It is justice for Mr. President to as well grant the Southeast a ministry for the Development Commission. The same thing to Northwest. But due to the cost of governance, which needs to be reduced for efficacy and a better society as it is now, he has thought it wise and has as well done well to unite all these development commissions through one ministry, as he named it, Ministry for Regional Development. I don't want my brothers in South, the Niger Deltas, we are a part of Niger Delta, to see it as injustice. Let us see it as a move to unite regional development, address all our respective peculiar issues. I want to use this opportunity to ask Mr. President to ensure that more Igbo youths are accommodated in his government. This will go a long way to sensitize, engage, and give a sense of belonging to our youths. And it shall go a long way to address the unrest in Southeast. Southeast has no presence of federal infrastructure, especially the rail. No rail line passed through Southeast. There is need for that justice to be done. The coastal highway, which now moves from the west to the north, there is need for such infrastructure in Southeast. Southeast is the only region who duly and genuinely deserve this development commission. As a result of the
I actually wanted to right, while we are still on this subject, you know, though we don't have so much time, I also wanted you to share some thoughts, at least from your organization, as to how to ensure that this regional development ministry doesn't leave any region out.
Yes, the best way to do it is to ensure that all parties are well carried along, irrespective of tribe or region. We have known Nigeria as a place where our region, Southeast, is treated less than others are being treated.
All right.
Okay, so
I want to ask the minister to ensure that he is close to the people, especially the people of Southeast.
Right. Just a moment, Mazi, just a moment, so that you can answer this because of our time. How do we bring development to the Southeast when we are still talking about the issue of insecurity, the sit at home? Are you not bothered? Are you not concerned? What's your message to the youth there about this high level of insecurity in the Southeast region of the country?
For decades, millions of Igbo youths are idle. There is no industry in Southeast. We must commence by establishing cottage industries in Southeast. Let there be federal government presence. Let the federal government engage the youth of Southeast. We are not recognized by the federal government. We have not been to any activity, any program by the federal government. No federal government presence is
that would be too much to say that you are not recognized by the federal government. This latest appointment.
The reason why the appointment of Her Excellency Ambassador Bianca Uke is the only appointment for us is because all the appointments met from this region, none of them is close to the people. We never knew that somebody from Southeast was the minister for investment, trade and commerce. We never knew that somebody from Southeast was the minister for women affairs. We
I'm
never
afraid,
knew any appointment.
We have to just go.
Except now that Ojubu is online.
All right. Okay. That said, let's quickly get final remarks from Mr. Bayo Adedusu, especially how much of a renewed hope? What's the sense of renewed hope that you are getting from this latest action by the president?
Thank you very much for that question. I'll still go back to try to tie it to the Nigerian people. The president has a mandate. He has a vision. He has an agenda. It is the responsibility of the president to bring in people who believe in his agenda, who are ready and willing to hit the ground running from day one, who can deliver the promise that are encoded in his action plan that is sold to the Nigerian people. The Nigerian people, let's say it again, because I said earlier, they've been so squeezed for so long, they've been sacrificing and they are being asked to continue to sacrifice. But with this rejigging, and like I said earlier, I believe there will be more to come, because in management, you do things in piecemeal without affecting the balance. This will definitely instill some level of confidence, particularly to let the Nigerian people know that truly the government, the president, has his own feedback mechanism beyond what his advisors and his appointees actually say to him.
All right.
It will go a very long way at the same time, because when we look at it, let's look at the Sports Commission, particularly that is coming back. Nigerians were disillusioned with the performance of the Ministry of Sports. And we know we know all along that it is the different sports federations that actually run their different sports. And bringing in the Sports Commission back, like we used to have it in the days of Babayo Shehu, it will reinvigorate and take away the politics that have been endemic in that particular ministry and non-performance in the ministry, particularly with clashes. But the most important thing is the president is trying to bring the Nigerian people to the table and to let them know that they are stakeholders in the development of the country and appealing through this appointment that things will be done right and errors that have been identified in the course of the past appointment will be corrected with the new appointment. And sincerely speaking, I believe we are getting there, and I believe the president will actually deliver at the end of the day. But it's not going to be an easy process.
Thank you very much. It's a fine place now to rest our conversation for now. Gentlemen, our sincere appreciation for giving us your time this Saturday. Bayo Adedusu from Canada and Mazi Chukuma Okpala Ezioku. Thank you very much for spending some time with us today.
Thank you very much for having me, and all the best. May Nigeria succeed.